Hi everyone, my name is Mike Bryan and I'm happy to have here today Marie Wisecarver. She is our financial data analyst for the estate, healthcare, and wealth preservation team. Thanks Marie for coming today.
You're welcome.
And if you've been watching our other resources on our website and on the same page you can see the interview with Courtney Howg, my case manager. We wanted to do these videos so that if you're a potential client or even a current client that just started out with us, this gives you a better opportunity to find out more about the rest of the folks on your team. You may have talked to me at other points or seen me speak at a seminar, but I'm just one person of this team, so I wanted to give you a chance to understand what her job description is and a little bit more about her background. So let's go ahead and jump into it, Marie. First of all, when I hear the term financial data analyst, what the heck does that mean? What all do you do? Give us kind of an idea about that.
So I get the honor to meet with the clients, reach out to them, and collect their assets, their debts, and their incomes. And then we do the verifications. I send verification letters out to the local banks, insurance companies.
Sure. Well, I know that when we're working on particularly Medicaid or veterans benefits cases, that part of it is huge because we have to know are we at the right asset level for Medicaid purposes or for VA purposes. If we're doing other techniques where we can protect part of their funds, we really have to know what those numbers are. And in some cases, the clients, they may be looking at this for the first time sometimes. I know that we'll have folks come in with I've joked that some people will show up with a trash bag full of information or a big pile of things, and that's one of the first things you do is kind of go through that and organize it, right? And so that really kind of sets the stage for everything that we do. And other things that you're looking at, their income, whether they have any debts, things like that, you're also tracking that. And I understand sometimes it's a little difficult getting information from some companies, right?
Yes, it is very difficult.
And I know that you had to follow up several times with, we won't mention any companies, but I know there are some that are easier to deal with than others, right?
Right, and then we have some that are very, very kind and react quickly.
Sure.
Yes.
So that's kind of at the beginning of the case, you're working on that. And you mentioned the verification form. That's something you send out to the clients basically at the very beginning, where we kind of list out what we think that they have as far as assets, debt, and income. And when they get that, is it right that it really isn't as important what the numbers are on that? It just helps us understand where to go look. Right?
Yeah, and I always advise that client that if they get a hold of the asset, debt, and income sheet that I send to them, that they make changes to kind of let me know where we're at and if we're all on the same page. So
sure. Just kind of handwrite them on there and send it back. And that just helps us internally, so we know that we're looking the right place for assets and we're not missing anything.
Right.
So, okay, well that makes sense. And then, of course, as we're going along, I might ask you, or Courtney might ask you to get updates on things as we're getting closer to filing a Medicaid application or VA application. So there's a lot of follow-ups I know that you have to do with that. And I think you mentioned already that you might be at some signings for clients. Lots of times, if we're having a will sign, we need to have two witnesses there. So you might see Marie and Courtney there at those. So that's and so you're really there's a lot of things you're doing at the very beginning of the case, but there's a lot of follow-up in between.
Right.
So
it's a big puzzle. You start out and it all comes together.
It is. It's as we talked before we started the video today, there's a lot of moving parts in these cases that I think most folks don't realize, and it's not an easy process by any means.
No. Very lengthy process.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, one of the things that I think folks also find interesting is just knowing a little bit about you. I mean, they hear me talk about Medicaid and VA benefits way too much, probably. But tell us some things about you, your background. I mean, were you born and raised in this area?
I was born and raised in Zanesville. Married to my husband, Mike. We'll be married 29 years.
Okay.
And I still love him, which is amazing. We have 2 girls, Morgan, she's 28, and Mikkel is 22.
Okay.
We have 4 dogs, 2 labs, and a wiener dog, and a little bully basset.
All right. Very nice.
Yes.
Very nice.
So I spend most of my summer in my yard. I have about 10 flower beds that I like to dig up and move around and see how I can change things up.
And I think that's one of your big hobbies, right? Is the
Mhm.
garden? Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Very good. Well, what other? I mean, other than the flower garden and things like that, any other things that pique your interest that you do outside the office, or does that take up most of your time?
Well, I do. I clean some offices on the side, help some friends out. Up until 3 years ago, both of the girls played fast pitch softball, so we spent our summers. Mike was on one end of the state with Kel, and I was at the other end of the state with Morgan.
And that's a full-time job right there. Yeah.
Yes, I wouldn't change it for anything. It's amazing. Met a lot of good people.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Now, I know this was your first experience in a law office,
Mm-hmm.
which is a whole new thing, but the interesting thing is you have some background in the healthcare industry. Is that right?
I do. I was the executive director of an assisted living. I loved that position. I was on the side where I helped our residents get prepared to file for Medicaid, or as they moved in, I would help them get prepared to file for veterans benefits. I wish I had known then what I know now about how you can move monies into trusts and protect them, where so many people just think it's a necessity to spend every dime you have.
Yeah.
And it's really opened my eyes, and it amazes me how much how well you can move things around. And
Well, yeah, there's a lot of things you can do, and you hit the nail on the head that everyone thinks that you have to spend everything down because they've heard from their friends and neighbors that's the only thing you can do. And people heard me say this quite a bit too, that you don't know what you don't know.
right.
And so you don't know you should go talk to an attorney about these things. You don't know that you can protect half. You don't know that, for Medicaid, you don't know that you're eligible for anywhere between $14,000 and $27,000 in tax-free income from the VA. And so, there are a lot of things that I think it's interesting to hear, from your standpoint too, because you were on that side of it for so long. But so that's been a nice add-on, I think, to our team as well, because it gives us a little extra perspective about things with your background there.
Well, another thing is your client care program that you have, where our folks are able to take advantage of the 3 different steps, and just the thought that they can actually have that consultation with you, because when from the outside looking in, it's like, well, I have to talk to my attorney and getting that appointment, and how much is it going to cost, and where if they take part in your client care program, that's a part of it.
Yeah, no,
which is awesome.
I appreciate that too. No, that's been a program. I think it's maybe 5 or 6 years ago we started that, and we've had a lot of folks enjoy being part of that because it creates more of a relationship than a transaction.
Right.
Because that's unfortunately a lot of attorneys. It's more of a transaction feel and kind of a cold feel, and I think particularly in this area of law that this is not a good fit.
No.
So. All right, so I wanted to give folks a little background about you, and I know that if you're on the website already, you can see the other resources we have. I have 3 reports that I've created over the past few years about estate planning and Medicaid and VA. Published a book last year as well that you can download from our website at no cost. So if you have questions about any of these matters, just take a look at that, or you're always welcome to call our office too. You can either reach out to me or Courtney or Marie, and we'd love to work with you and help you through this maze of estate planning, Medicaid, and veterans benefits. So thanks again for doing this today. I appreciate your time, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.